Welcome to 2026. You're probably still working on some kind of change program that you're driving within your organization. You're probably still working on important innovation projects that are really key for the success of your organization. And some of these transformations, some of these initiatives, some of these projects are going to need buy-in from your colleagues within the organization in order for you to become successful. That's something that I've learned over the years, which is it's very difficult to drive innovation, transformation, or any kind of organizational change if you don't have a core group of people that are bought into the change and are willing to champion it across the organization and create the kind of momentum and buy-in and positivity and energy around the change. I believe that organizational transformation can feel good. It doesn't always have to be hard driving with being pushed down on people and people being forced to comply. So I just thought at the beginning of the year, 2026, I would encourage you by maybe sharing with you four ideas that you might want to consider as you drive change throughout the year. So I'm going to talk you through these ideas, and we can start with the first idea right here. So the first idea I have for you is actually the whole notion of a feel-good transformation. I really think that you can drive transformation without having to push people or apply force. I think that you can drive transformation by creating gravity that draws people in. So start thinking about activities that you can do within your transformation that can actually bring people to you rather than just keep pushing change roadmap, using different kinds of incentives to make sure people comply. What is it that you could create that would create energy that kind of attracts people to the work that you're trying to do? It doesn't even have to be a big announcement. It can be something small that just shows, some sort of positive outcome that will allow or attract people to come towards you. So that's the first thing I would encourage you to try and do in 2026. The second idea that I have for you is as you start to do this work again, if you want the transformation to feel good, you can just pick the path of least resistance. This is different from like trying to attract everybody, because the moment you're trying to attract everybody, it means you're also working on the detractors as well. So they're also coming along as you try and attract everybody. I think that, a lot of transformations do well if they start by finding early adopters, finding champions that are already bought in and want to participate in the change. So do work with early adopters and champions, because that's the path of least resistance. Remember, we say that you want to create gravity as the first idea. The best way to do that again is to work with early adopters and champions, because they'll be willing to work with you right from the beginning. And it is the outcomes that they create, the energy that they create, that then starts to draw in other people to actually join the work. So try and see through discovery if you can find early adopters and champions within your organization, and then you can pick that as the path of least resistance. Like use that as a way to actually try and drive a change within your business. The third idea that I'd like you to actually think about is rather than pitching and pitching and pitching all the time, try and show visible results. Like, when you pitch, you're trying to convince people to buy into something they haven't seen manifest. People need social proof. They need evidence before they can jump in. It's not everyone that can just jump in without social proof or evidence. That's why we call those people early adopters, like I said earlier. But for the rest of us, we really need to actually see visible results. We need to see uh, early wins. We need to see you celebrating the successes that you've had. And it's the celebration of the successes, the storytelling around the successes, that social proof that then starts to attract people to actually join the transformation. So again, the way to create gravity is to work with early adopters to create early wins. And so that's like those three things that I'm recommending you do this year. And that's really important for creating this a feel-good transformation. The final idea that I want you to kind of focus on is then how do you grow engagement? So rather than focusing on pushing again, pushing things to everybody, how do you grow engagement? And you really need to understand the distinction between people that just comply, they engage in the action, but they're not really believers, versus people that are bought into the change. So growing engagement is when people have both belief and action. So they're actively contributing, but they also have a positive view about the change itself. And that's the goal. That's what you should be tracking continuously over time as you engage in your transformation initiative. How many people are actually bought in? How many people have a positive view of the work that we're doing? How many people are willing to actively contribute? I think the ultimate measure of whether or not you're being successful with any transformation work that you're actually doing is whether or not people are joining without being pushed. I think that's the ultimate measure of whether the change is going to last or whether the change is going to stick. Are people willingly joining your work without being pushed? And if you've got a large number of people joining your work without being pushed or requesting to participate, then you've created momentum, right? You've created the kind of acceptance of the work that allows you to then drive change over time. So I wish you the very, 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 very best in 2026. You saw me say very, 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 very several times there. I really am rooting for you to succeed in 2026. I just thought I'd share with you four ideas that can help you do that as you move along. Thank you.